Hey there, Mark Satterfield here. Thanks so much for joining me talking today about high ticket sales, how to develop relationships with the wealthy, how to get more affluent clients. And today I want to give you the perspective from my great aunt Caroline. Great Aunt Caroline, she was a bit of a snob. I would be the first to admit that. And, back in her times, the criteria for who was the right kind of person to associate with, who was the right kind of person to do business with, was far more defined than it is today. But that notwithstanding, there were 5 questions that great Aunt Caroline would ask. And these are questions that still come up time and time again. And you just, I think, need to be prepared to be able to answer them because people, especially the wealthy, are going to judge you by how you answer them. So the first question is, where do you live? Yeah, this really is shorthand to make a class determination on whether you are our kind of person. I mean, even here in Pinehurst, North Carolina, we'll ask somebody, where do they live? And we immediately make judgments based on that. If they say they live in number 7, which is where I live, or Forest Creek or the Country Club of North Carolina, we know that these are people who are at the higher end of the socio-economic strata here in Pinehurst. If they say, hey, I live in number 6, well, okay, that's all right, but that is nowhere near as posh an address, and it tends to be where your retired government workers live. And are we making a erroneous assumption on occasion? Sure, but we make those assumptions. Next question. Tell me a little bit about your family. What did people do? And, if somebody's father, ran a delicatessen, or somebody's father was a mechanic, hey, nothing wrong with that. Those are certainly admirable professions or trades. But realistically, you're going to have a lot more social acceptance, at least immediately, if your parents were either professionals, doctor, engineer, lawyer, or, for example, academics. But you got to be prepared for that question. And if, if your parents, ran a diner, hey, nothing wrong with that, no shame. But, you want to be aware that people are going to make judgments about you. Third, what do you do for a living? Hey, this is a big one, and this is where we make snap determinations on whether the people are our kind of folk. And again, entrepreneurs, professionals, that is really, we make positive assumptions along those lines. Somebody works for the government, somebody is a tradesperson. Again, nothing wrong with that. Lord knows we need those people, but there is going to be a bias against them. Where do you vacation? Now, this is kind of a tricky one because Lord knows I love Miami Beach and Las Vegas, but there is a difference between the people who say, hey, I go to St. Croix versus those people that go to Vegas. I'm not sure that makes that much of a difference anymore. It was a favorite question of great Aunt Caroline. Not quite sure what she learned from it, but anyway, people do ask that. And then the final one, of course, is where did you go to school? And the Ivies, the top 50 private schools, that again says something about you. It also says, an approach to academia. And I think, in this day and age, there's a lot of different approaches. Some of it is what we might call a vocational approach. Some of it might be called an academic approach. Now, someone who can go to a 4-year private university and get a degree in English literature, well, God bless them, but that is somebody who either came from a certain amount of money or it was someone who was setting themselves up for a graduate degree in most likely either law or business. But it says something different about that person than the person who goes to community college and, learns to drive a truck. Again, no judgment. Well, yeah, actually kind of judgment, but, people are making judgment based on that. So these are the 5 questions that my great aunt Caroline used to ask to determine whether someone was their kind of person. I pass it along a little bit tongue in cheek, but do be aware that, this still goes on. So if you want to sell high ticket services, if you want to ingratiate yourself with the wealthy, if you want more affluent clients, realize that they are making judgments about you, and that how you answer these questions actually does carry some weight. Want to talk about how you can answer these questions? Well, I'm happy to discuss this. It's one of the things actually I talk about a lot in my Whales Not Minnows video newsletter, and of course with my private consulting clients. But that's neither here nor there. So anyway, I hope you found this to be, helpful perhaps. Well, that's my intent, certainly. And I'll have something new for you soon, and I'll be back at you when I do that. Okay. As always, thanks so much for being a part of my community. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get noticed about all the good stuff when it comes out. And of course, if you know of other people who are trying to sell high ticket products or services, attract more wealthy and affluent clients, hey, pass this along to them. It's good for them. It's good karma for you. And yeah, of course, it's good for me. All right. Thanks again for watching this. This is Mark Satterfield. Bye for now.